All right, good people. Welcome this morning to our financial boot camp with none other than me, Clarissa Pace, EVP Platinum. This is Saturday, May 16th, and we have begun our training at 10 a.m. I am delighted for those of you that have actually joined the training on today, because this is what it takes to be financially successful. It takes a little bit of your time management or redirecting your time management so that you can be involved in the success of your finances. And if you notice that, when it comes to success in our finances, if we have not started our groundwork, probably around 16, 15, 16, and then we just get started, it takes a little more time than it does others. But the good news is that we all can attest that at any time that you get started, that it will make a difference. So I want to give the myEcon concept today. Every time that you join us in a training, we're going to remind you of the concept of myEcon. And then you can actually study it on your own. Those of you who are already associates and guests were welcome to the call as well. But those of you who are associates, sometimes you have to remind yourself often as to the direction and the goal that you're trying to go in financially, and also realize the value of what it is, the membership that you have with myEcon. And because it is so valuable, you actually take that opportunity to follow the steps, follow the strategies as they're guiding you through, so that you can be financially successful. So with that being said, I want to let you know that most desire, to be financially successful. Everybody desires to be financially successful. As a matter of fact, I think so, even though sometimes people don't want to share with you that they want to be financially successful, or even reveal that they're not financially successful. We know that there are two objectives that they need in place to become financially successful. Number one is they have a desire to make enough income, or need to make enough income to live a comfortable lifestyle during their working years. And number two, actually create some type of asset or cash flow asset that is constantly making money and being able to help during the retirement years. In order to make it happen during your retirement years, you've got to make it happen during your working years, because this is the time that you actually have at least 100% of your income available to you. But all of us by now should understand that when we retire, we're actually going to have 40% of that income available. And if 100% is not working for us right now, or we've not actually adjusted it to work for us right now, then we may have problems when we desire to retire. I remember actually having a gentleman come to my office when I worked at a corporation, who had cancer, and he was actually at the age where he should have been able to retire, take care of himself, but he could not, because he had a mountain of debt and other responsibilities before him, and he had not understood his retirement and how to move that and make it shift to replace his income so he could retire. So guess what, you guys? He actually stayed on that job until he died. He didn't even have the time to take care of himself. So this is the concept of myEcon, is that we've got to get you to accomplish both 1 and 2. Okay, remember, 1 and 2 is to be able to actually build enough income during that helps you live comfortably during your working years, and then take some of that income and make it work now, so that during your retirement years, you won't have to change your testimony to a fixed income testimony. Okay, our concept is straightforward. People need to generate enough income to support their lifestyle. So listen, in order to do that, we have to implement some objectives. Now, the first objective is that we've got to make sure that we move from a limited linear income to an income that actually has residual, it actually has leverage to it, because as long as we have linear income, then we know that people tell us when to wake up, when to go to sleep, when to take a vacation. And have you ever been on a job that actually evaluated your performance and it was like a slap in the face because your performance was not worth but maybe a 10 cent, not a 10%, but a 10-cent increase? I've been there. I don't know about you guys, but I've actually been there. So as long as we have W-2 jobs only, this is a problem. This is linear income. We are not able to spend the time that we need with our families. We're not able to do the things that we desire in our heart. You know, I always often tell my friends is that when I was on my job, I actually stole hours from myself. You know, I took all 40 hours of my sick leave. I took all 40 hours of my vacation. And then I was also trying to take some hours from somebody else to do the things that I desired to do in my heart, you know, like be with my family, go attend my husband's ball games, go follow my children, go do my own dream, go do ministry. But as long as I had linear income, then I was actually trapped. No matter what I did, I was trapped inside that bubble, and my income would never increase, not by my doing, not by my desire, but by other people's desire that had control over my cash flow. The second situation that we're going to deal with as far as your objectives and your problems with building cash flow success is losing a significant amount of your money to taxes, okay? We have to, when we change from linear income, we reposition ourselves to where we can actually save on our taxes. Taxes is actually the largest expense that any American citizen can incur. If you take the thousands of dollars that we paid to Uncle Sam in taxes under a linear income, then we could invested it and we would have been millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires. We would be just like our president is today, you know, because he started a long time. He's in office and he a dime in taxes. So he's able to live like he wants to live regardless, okay? And then another issue that we have is that we lose our money to debt, okay? Interest on debt. Debt robs us of our cash flow. I know I hear a lot of people say, I have to rob Peter to pay Paul, and they get comfortable with that philosophy, but I'm not comfortable, never was comfortable with robbing Peter to pay Paul, because in the end, I was just gonna continue to be a thief, because I never would get ahead unless I change my principle. I've heard people who say, I'm going to always be in debt because I want a new car, I wanted this, I'm going to be switching. Well, that's poor mindset on anybody's part, because debt is not your friend. So why make it your friend? Debt is your enemy. So we want to get to the point to where we eliminate that debt so we can have enough cash flow to actually create cash flow for our future, right? So then we lose a significant amount of money. Well, I put it like this. We actually get to the point to where we can't even save a dollar. We have statistics that show us that at least 80% of all Americans have less than $1,000 in a savings account. And in a moment, we're going to talk about a little bit about emergency funds. But when you take a look at it, people, we get to the point that we don't even have an emergency fund. And emergency funds need to be equivalent to at least 3 to 6 months of our living expenses. And so the concept of myEcon is very straightforward, and it's very simple to do. We actually want to move you from being entrapped into those scenarios I just talked about, and put a strategy in place that includes what? Correcting your withholding form, saving on your taxes, building better credit, okay, eliminating your debt, and then investing. So never forget that the outcome of an associate that is involved, truly involved with the principles of myEcon, is happiness, okay? Straight and simple. I don't have any big words to say, big financial words. to tell anybody, other than it's just to the point to where we can truly be happy with the money that we have, and we're actually using wisdom. And guess what? We can pass that wisdom right along to our children, and they can pass it to their children, which I believe is a godly principle in which we're supposed to leave an inheritance for our children's children. Okay? All right, so thank you guys for the opportunity to share the overview of myEcon and its concept. Now we're going to move on to our training today. All right, you guys, I'm having to tap my thing hard because you know what? I think that I wasted just a little bit of coffee on my computer. That's making a major difference, okay? Now, I'm not going to keep you guys long today, but I do want to start at the basic. The thing with me is I see myEconers being taught the end game, okay? Our end game is investing. Okay, that's the end game, is building cash flow. As we said, asset of cash flow, cash, asset, cash. That's the end game to this. The first cash is that we have to begin to manage that cash in a way that we have enough to actually make assets, okay? To actually create assets from them. So what I'm gonna do is, depending on the time and what you guys desire who are on here with me, I'm actually going to share some basic information. That's why I call it a boot camp, because every now and then, I hope y'all can agree with me and actually say something. This is not a lecture. Y'all can interject at any time. You can go into the chat. But I hope y'all agree with me that at any time, you can get off track when it comes to your finances. You can really, really get off track. Depending on what the circumstance or situation is, any of us can get off track. You can get busy working. You can have extenuating circumstance that eat up your funds for some reason. Any godforsaken thing, like we had a storm and we were out of lights. And the only way I could preserve my food, get this, was to buy a $700 generator. I don't know about y'all, but you know, I was like trying to, right, it's happening right now. It's like I'm trying to, when Jerome came and said to me, well, I'm out of luck, $400. You know, we were trying to, right, we were trying to find the cheapest route we could, but then we couldn't because everything was gone. Everybody was out. Everybody was trying. I didn't want to finance a huge generator. The next door neighbor put us to shame because he's got this underground, he's got this generator that's lighting up the whole house and the neighborhood needing a light pole. And then he's going underground and he's going to put his stuff in. And I promise y'all, I'm like, really? I'm over here like $700. Now, the good news is I really do have an emergency fund. And so it wasn't in the budget, but I had to turn around and say, thank you, Lord. All right, that's what the emergency fund is for. And then afterwards, the funny thing is the stimulus check came. So I got all right, but those are extenuating circumstances that everybody was not in that position. And I can remember when I really was not in that position, and that would have blown my mind, or I would have had to put it on my charge card. But I was able to actually put it on, get it out of my emergency fund, okay, and not charge it, all right, or all of my food get ruined. And you guys, listen, y'all can come off mute if you'd like to, okay? Go ahead and come off mute and discuss it with me. So I want to ask the question, have you had any extenuating circumstances that you ran into like that? Go ahead and share that with me, with the group or with the team today, because we want to make it relative. We want to make the training relative and interactive.
Okay. Well, Ms. Pate, I will say this, for me, it's actually being at home, you know, it's been a blessing, and, you know, but things have come up. And here recently, my wife has had to have a little medical procedure. And that wasn't I mean, we got health insurance and stuff like that, but then there's still additional money and medicines and stuff that you have to get. And those types of things weren't really, we didn't anticipate that, nor did we anticipate our kids' spring break turning into summer break, and immediately I'm in the house with my wife and 4 daughters. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of tissue. That's a lot of food. It's a whole lot. But fortunately, I looked at it from this perspective. I only have to go to my office once a week for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. So I'm not spending money on gas anymore. Mm-hmm. And so the principles that we talk about allow me to shift money that I was spending on gas. Mm-hmm. And now I had that money available to me to take care of some of these other things that are going on right now. So fortunately, we are in a space where we can do it, but I've got so many people around me right now that have not a clue how they're going to make it.
Right. Absolutely. I've heard them complaining, and I've truly been blessed to be in a position where the principles are working for us, even in the mindset. I feel that even if we were very, very low, okay, that a mindset, I can remember when I was low, but my mindset was changing. And also I had a system to help me get out of the situation and relax where I would have gone into a panic zone. Okay, so that is the value of what we bring to the table in myEcon. Anybody else want to share anything you may have run into? Because when you say food, Joseph, I sure relate, because see, I got grown children. And so I kept going to the store, and all of a sudden I realized I'm spending $150 to $200 a week. That is not. And I was like, ooh, I love to see them, but I wish college was going on, because that's where they need to be eating in the cafeteria.
Yes, ma'am. My son, he came to stay with us for about a month, and I'm telling you, so when I added him into the fold, look, food was leaving out of the house every day, and I saw Renita laugh when I said tissue. Yeah, I mean,
Can't keep it. She'll never understand.
I have to have that. I have to have it. But one other thing I want to make a comment about real quick. You just said something about mindset, and I'm interested to know how many people are still spending. And when I say spending, not for food and stuff, because stimulus checks came out, and the mindset is, well, I got this free money. Let me go and spend. And what we're seeing is people are now waiting on another stimulus.
Wow.
And I have to ask the question, how many people still got Amazon boxes coming to their homes? Because there's an article that says people are upset that Bezos is about to be a trillionaire.
Right. Anybody want to answer that? Anybody want to speak to that? This your day. Well,
I still have some of my stimulus. Matter of fact, I still have over half of my stimulus.
Look,
I ain't shopping.
I'm one of the ones, I guess I'm a little lucky. Mine is just now about to come in, so I missed the wave of spending. So I too have all of mine.
And that was a good thing. It teach you to hold on. Because Miss Yarbrough can attest to that, because I've been getting 1,000,001 calls, inbox mess. Folks, it's not even my clients. Where's my stimulus? I know you can tell me all this. I've had some crazy stuff until I've had to tell people in the office, hold my calls, and just send point blank, messages that are short and I guess not rude, but to the point, that my answer was, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, until people just stopped trying to come back. And one lady said to me, she said, well, oh, Clarissa, I just thought you knew everything. And I said, that's a real bad joke. She has not contacted me anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because I just, I just didn't, they just were not getting the point. So moving on, I want to let you know that we need to become familiar with the tools of myEcon. And so I have here a little wheel of the tools specifically, and we're going to address these tools and actually open them up. And I'm going to show you how to use them. And I don't want you even to take for granted that you know how, because I have found some people in error. I just didn't say anything, but we want to get better at using our tools. And I'm not going to ask the question as to how many actually use the tools, because I found probably over 50% of my team, which is over 100 people, well, I won't say about 80%, who's not ever using these tools. And these things are for your success and your discipline and your organization. So we have the cash flow manager, the debt eliminator, which is new because we did not have that separated. So we have, you don't have to go inside the cash flow strategist to put your debt in there, but you can go directly to a debt eliminator software where you can move quicker. And I don't know why, but I'm just making an assumption that that June, and we revamped that because we're trying to teach people how to get out of debt. So some people find the cash flow strategist just mind-boggling to do, and we want to move them quickly to eliminating debt. Okay, and then we have our cash flow strategist, which is a full financial picture. And in the end, it is actually a goal setting tool that can actually put you on track for your personal finances. Okay. And then finally, of course, our My Credit system, which is equipped with videos, is very knowledgeable, very, very good. The only thing I think that's in there is that's not inside of our credit system is when you are getting sued. That's a whole nother level, but that's not what it's built for. But that's a whole nother level when you're going to court, how to deal with court, how to get your judgments dismissed, or how to deal with a particular judgment. But nonetheless, we've got the very basic of financial boot camp to get you started, to keep you organized. And then going to another level is all up to you. Okay, it's really, really up to you. I was reading in our information, and I'm kind of jumping and I'm fixing to get to something, but I was reading in our information where one of the things that we're going to study today is the PCP plan. And so I was reading where Ivy was saying many people could probably argue with the structure that we use, or say, hey, there's a better plan for this structure, because we do. We have insurance agents. We've got that call themselves financial planners, financial advisors. Ooh, but in actuality, and so they're not really structured in this way to trip. I guess would say they got so much knowledge until they're not structured to deal with you in a very simple manner to get you going. Okay. And then we have investors, investment companies, people who actually have the Series 663 license and so forth, and they may have other interjections, other teachings, other options. But the point is, in myEcon, is we're giving the housewife, we're giving the busy husband, we're giving the ordinary people an opportunity to take an ordinary strategy, put it in place, and start winning. And it's your choice to go out and extend on anything that we are teaching and are providing for you. Y'all got that? Now, I'm mentioning this because there have been flip-flops. Okay, you know, Ms. Pace, I just like to deal with some of the things we deal with in business in myEcon. We've got people who flip-flop. This one is not enough. I've heard many people say, well, myEcon is not enough. I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. We've had people in myEcon who have gone from sole proprietorship to LLC to S Corp to C Corp. They're being advised to do this. We are not advising you to go there, because basically all of that advice has people on a totally different level that they do not understand and cannot work. Even when it comes to nonprofit organizations, you need to learn or be structured in a basic foundation before you grow. That's part of growth. And so we give you, we make you a sole proprietor. Okay, you're a sole proprietor, which is a simple taxation. And in your proprietorship, you have financial education and instructions. Okay, just want to make that clear to you. So today, as we advance this slide, which, like I said, I think I got coffee on my thing, which is making my stuff go haywire after practicing. Okay, in this, I want to address the cash flow manager. Okay, and then we're actually going to open the cash flow manager. The value of the cash flow manager actually includes, we know, our record keeping system, which helps us save on taxes by keeping records. Our cash flow manager is also a business money manager. Okay, now why do I say that? Because in your cash flow manager, you have a profit and loss statement. I want you to see the value of these tools that we give you. You have a profit and loss statement. Now, with the PPP that the government is offering right now, one of the banks, or not all of them, because all of them do differently, one of the banks asks for, guess what? A profit and loss statement. So what I'm trying to tell you is the value of the cash flow manager is much greater than putting in a receipt, okay, which may eliminate our lack of activity with our cash flow manager, because anybody that actually needed to go for this, if you were truly keeping up with your business transactions, your income, your expenses, you would have been able to hit a button and then download a profit and loss statement that would actually submit to your banker to actually qualify you for the PPP loan. Not only that, if you just have self-employment, guess what? And you go to buy a car, they're going to ask, or most of them ask for you to prove your income. A profit and loss statement can prove your income. Okay? So it is more reasons than one to take active involvement in, or to be a user of your cash flow manager, so you can be equipped for other things that you have in mind that you want to do. Okay, I think I got everybody in. Let's see, I thought I saw a seventh person. Okay, just a minute, let me see if I get them. All right, here I go. Promoting. Okay, all right. So the next thing is, it's an audit proof system. Okay, you need this if you're going to practice income shifting strategies. The first part of income shifting strategies is about saving on taxes. Saving on taxes is about you working business. It is not about paying $34.95 a month. Okay, I want that to soak in. It is not about you paying $34.95 a month. Okay, so, oh yes, that was okay, Renita. So you need to understand that when you have a business, you must operate as a business, okay, and not a hobby. So it's not about sporadic participation in your business. So the cash flow manager can help you pass an audit if you are actively using this tool. Okay. Right now, I thought of another thing. We have the Arkansas employment uh, uh, division, unemployment division, and now they are allowing the self-employed to draw unemployment. How about your cash flow manager records? If they were kept up, you could present your income out of your cash flow manager. Okay, so it's an organizer of your personal money management, all of the scope of the cash flow manager. And particular today, instead of us going to the record keeping, guess what? I'm going to deal with the foundation, the basic of money management, which is budgeting. Okay, which is budgeting. Again, I told you a lot of times we learn the end game, which is investing. I think I saw June Collier. He made a post one day. I totally agree with it. He said, people, don't invest until you get your money together, until you get the basics together. It wasn't it, quote unquote, but he was telling people that you need to get your credit together. You need to eliminate your debt, because it is impossible for you to invest effectively if you don't have these areas managed in place. Okay. Now, I know that there was one time they said, okay, people want to rush because we want to get on the timeline, because the way to create wealth, time actually creates wealth. Okay. Time creates wealth, because over a period of time, if you invest cash flow, you have an opportunity to have compound interest build. Okay. At different percentages. And so over time, if you started to invest at a very early age, then over time by 64, if you invested, let me give you an example, $300. If you start to invest $300 at the age of 21, at an 8% rate of return by the time, or I'm sorry, at a 10% rate of return, by the time you reach 64, you'll be a millionaire. And that's in a soft investment, which is considered stocks and bonds. Okay? That's why we want to teach our children. But before we can move to the end game, we've got to get the beginning correct. And I know that most people say, hey, I know how to budget. I manage my money pretty good, but I'm gonna stop talking, and I want to hear somebody say, what are ways that you budget or you think. You don't have to tell deep down. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. One person told Miss Lambert one time that worked with her, told her, said, the way I budget, because my money is so funny, I just put everything in an envelope, throw it up in the air, let it drop, and whichever ones drop the first, that's what I pick up and pay. But she's serious. She felt, yeah, she was serious. You know, and then I've had some people that say, you know, they wait until payday. Okay. And when they wait until payday, they sit down a few days within the week of the payday. They really honestly feel that this is the right time to budget, because they know that payday is coming in 4 days. So now they decide to write down their expenses, their bills. Okay. So somebody tell me, what do you think about those? Or do you have another story to share? No one?
Miss Pace, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay. Number one, I just want to say thank you for this. And I never really thought about how the profit and loss statement can, well, I'm just saying, using that in the cash flow manager can be a way to verify income. So I really appreciate you for saying that. And about budgeting, even though I'm certainly following the PCP plan, I think budgeting something that an area I can definitely grow in for sure, and always has been. You know, just like really being super disciplined, like fine tooth comb about it. I would say that my process. Let me say that my process could improve. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for honesty and interjecting it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll just kind of piggyback off Renita. Yeah, I understand the importance, and I kind of try to do mental budgeting, but it doesn't always work out. And so the discipline has to be there. You know, I kind of know ahead of time. I already know what has to be paid, da 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 da. But it's just a matter of, like Renita said, updating my processes and implementing, you know, just starting to include the tools that we have so it can be a little bit more seamless and automated. Renita, I'll say this. One of the things I think that when it comes down to this, I think about my time in a management course and the functions of management, and I think they can apply to our finances as well. You got to have a plan, you got to organize, you got to influence, and then you got to control or evaluate. A lot of times we don't have a plan for our money, and then we got to organize. So when Ms. Pace, when you say she just put it in an envelope and threw it in the air, I thought you were getting ready to say she put it in multiple envelopes. And to me, that's sort of like organizing it. And then you influence where your money goes. You tell your money where to go instead of your money influencing you where it should go. And then having that plan, you should be able to start to evaluate where you are as it relates to your budget, you know, seeing how much money you got going out compared to coming in. So those functions of management can apply right here, especially with budgeting. I think this is where they all come into play.
Okay. Absolutely. 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 I think that I have, Kim says on the chat, she said, I budget to have my bills come out during one pay period, eliminated cable, and cell phone contracts. Okay. So that's a good way because Kim, obviously you must have seen, you must have did an overall budget in order for you to see where your money is going, which is the key to why we budget. And then Mary Jameson says, I need to revamp my budgeting techniques. I can only respond in the chat box right now. Okay, so she needs to revamp her budgeting techniques. So let's take a look at, these are some of my personal budgeting philosophies, okay? And I titled this Back to Basics, again, because we sometimes lose our way, because I feel that what good is getting a dividend that we don't know how to manage. We get a dividend and we don't, this is a thing, doing taxes, okay? In doing taxes, there are people, and some of my econers who have gotten dividends from the funds that they invested in. But get this, they did not have control over their cash flow manager. Their record keeping was horrible. But dividends to you is an income, depending on what investment it is. Y'all learning something? I hope y'all learning something today. And so that is an income to you. Some of it is, depending on what type it is, becomes a write-off. It's what you call adjusted income, above the line, just adjusted income. But then others is going to be an income to you, which means it creates more tax liability. Well, that means that you either lose money that you could get refunded, or you could end up paying money back or paying in. And so the objective, if you get the dividends, you actually need to have the deductions to offset the taxes on that money. So you see what I'm saying? Back to basics is necessary. Reverend Barnes said, my wife does our budgeting, bills are paid on time, and debt is being eliminated. Okay. My record keeping needs much improvement, but he does take a picture of his receipts, which allows him to keep a paper trail. Okay. And somebody else said my bills paid on time, debt almost eliminated. And my biggest problem is my student loans as of today. That is great. That's good testimony. So we're getting better. And so, and she's speaking in terms of record keeping. So if back to basics, my philosophy is every dollar counts. I don't know what your philosophy is, but hopefully this is mindset. I mean, my family knows. I'm like, what did you spend that on? Wait a minute. Did you look at the paperwork? You know, and then the old saying, a penny saved is a penny earned. The value of pennies, my mama knew that. My mama would be at the grocery store. I remember her at the liquor store coming out, looking down. She always would look down, flash down. And if there was a penny, my mama would pick it up. We could be anywhere on vacation. And by the time my mama got through picking up pennies, she would have $10 or $20. I'm like, Mama, she for real. And she had a jar that she would take those pennies and put them in that jar. That's a practice for savings, you guys, because some of us just have change in our pockets. And yes, you will be. This is being recorded. And so you have change in your pockets. And so this gets you to the point to where you can actually learn discipline plus build some cash flow. The next one is, I have to do this because, you know, y'all know who I am. And the word comes to me, what good is money in the hands of a fool? Now that's a different interpretation, but if you look at Proverbs 17 and 16, sometimes we wonder why we don't have money because we act foolish with our money. Our spending, saving has some bruised habits, okay? And so we can't be trusted with money if we can't change our habits. And I just want those of you who are Christians to know that God is watching. And this is part of the plan. This is part of stewardship. Investing is not an option without money control, okay? Investing is not an option without money control, okay? Because you want to invest. And let me tell you something else that you can do. You can have so much of your money put up and go into investment that you don't have enough to live. Does that make sense? So if you don't have control over that, you think, well, I'm doing a great thing because I'm investing 50, 60, 70% of my income. But check this out. You'll want to go buy a Coke and can't go buy the Coke. You know, you'll want to, it'll be tight for you to live. So all of these basic principles are not to put you in a tight, it is to give you structure. That's all. It's structure. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on. So what does budgeting do? We just kind of briefly said that it controls your spending habit. It determines your saving. Budgeting tracks your money, lets you know where it has gone. Have y'all ever said, I don't know, look back at your bank account and say, I don't know where my money went to? You know, you asking yourself, where did my money, wait, hold on, where did my money go to? And then you start scrolling down, you're like, oh, I spent $6 over here, I spent $2 over here, oh my goodness, I gave $50, you know, so I should have gave 25, you know. So it keeps your financial house in order, and budgets rely on balance. So budgeting relies on balance. In other words, you want to have a balanced function when it comes to budgeting, where he just talked about, Joseph just talked about being able to, since he doesn't have gas, he was able to redirect his funds because he doesn't have to spend the money for gas. So in budgeting, you can turn around and put that into budgeting where you spend less in one area and more in another area, and it will bring balance to what it is that you're doing. I think Mary says she's collected over $2,000. And I think there was a guy in Louisiana that was old. I saw a story one time where he had so many $1,000s that he had collected in change. Budgeting also helps you save for a rainy day, okay? And budgeting will help you create a retirement income. Believe it or not, it really will help. Because here's the thing that people say, I don't have enough to budget. Y'all heard that? I don't make enough to budget. I don't make enough to invest. I've heard that a lot of times. People said, I got too many expenses to budget. But get this, I want you to think for a moment. You're the one that need the budget. If you don't have a cash flow overflow, which we call positive cash flow, if you don't have positive cash flow where you have anything left at the end, then you most definitely need to stop what you're doing and then go evaluate your income and your expenses. That's what happened, I think, with Kim being able to eliminate the cable and eliminate the cell phone. I think what she said, she was able to, she had to have taken a snapshot at everything that she had going on so that she could make those particular decisions, okay? So let's take a look. I'm gonna go, y'all excuse me again. So the components of budgeting is this: our financial statements. Our financial statements are gonna be our checks, okay? Our check that we get from our job. Now, don't do checks only. Some of you do other side gigs. You should actually have that income listed in the, look, anybody who make money with their hands in any kind of way, I call that, that money can slide right out of your hands and into something that's not profitable, okay? Like one of the things that hairdressers have a problem with, if they don't learn to to manage their money as hairdressers, by the time they make $1,000 at the end of the day, $50 at the end of the day, it's gone because it's just money in your pocket and you pull it out. You think nothing of it and you're just pulling that money out. You're pulling that money out instead of putting that money through a pass-through funnel, which would be take it to the bank, pay yourself, take it to the bank like you do anything else, and then manage it or put it in that budgeting system and then pay it out, okay? Then pay it out. I know some people never think about that, but when I started doing business where cash was being collected, I would put it in a cash box. But I realized, you know, my son might run through the door, my daughter might run to the door, and Mama, I need this. Mama, here you go, $10. Here you go, $5. Here you go, this, and then all of a sudden, what did I make today? What did not to mention, I believe in tithing. So that money is not exempt from me being obedient to God. So I didn't even have a total amount to even know what did I make so I can invest it into the kingdom. All right. And so the components of budgeting is all of your income. Perhaps you're getting dividends or you're getting Social Security. Whatever you have, that's your financial statements. That's what you need to put in your budgeting system. The next thing is your monthly expenses. Do not leave one expense out. That includes your hairdo, your nails, your suits, your dresses. Ain't nobody mad at you. This is personal. If you want to budget yourself to spend $200 a month on your clothes, that's your business. But you need to see how it's affecting your overall scope of things, okay? Your overall scope of how you're going to be successful financially, okay? And then you're going to separate fixed and variable expenses. Fixed expenses are those recurring expenses. They can be lights, gas, water, utilities. You know your insurance is going to be so much every month, okay? Utilities sometimes are just not fixed unless you're on Levelize. But I put myself on Levelize even when I downsized my house. I'm on Levelize, y'all. I was so happy because this is the first time since I've been grown that I got a light bill that was $99. We lived 12, 13 years in that other house. And that light bill on a Levelize was $300 and something. When it was unlevelized, it was $500. Y'all know Miss Pace is jumping up and down. Hallelujah. And so $99 it is. I'll take 99. Because this time, a half will do. Y'all, I'm sorry. So I was so glad to get that. I didn't know what to do. My gas bill would be in the 300s, levelized. So listen, deliverance is here. I ain't mad at nobody. And I'm thankful. But we need to look at the fixed so we'll know what's coming. And then all the variable expenses, travel expenses. Listen, you need to budget your travel. If you need to make a separate budget for travel, you can start another budget that's for travel, because you might want to spend $3,000 on your summer trip. So if you budget accordingly, then you can do things necessary to save towards that, and you can always keep up with it. I hope y'all being helped today. Okay. And then finally, the final component is financial goal. It's about reaching your financial goal. So whatever your financial goal is what needs to happen. Now, you guys, this is our cash flow manager. I'm going to go in and show you where your budgeting system is. How many of you actually have used or did know that you have both a business section to your cash flow manager and a home budgeting system? Okay. So while I'm going to exit out of this and I'm going to share, I'm going to stop this share, and then I'm going to go to the budgeting system. Okay. I'm going to need to share another screen. Hey, you good people. Good to see y'all on today. Now let's see where I put the myEcon. Okay. Sorry. I need to go back over here and pull up there it is. Okay, so I'm actually going to go, and like I said, everything is going slow for me now. I don't know what I did earlier, or this laptop, or should have been in the office, but bear with me. And I'm going to go to the tool, okay? But I want y'all to see how I got there, so I need to go in and share that. Okay, let me know if you see the screen. Okay, so now we're at the screen, and I'm gonna go down to tools. Okay, and I'm gonna hit tools. We're in the business management center, in case you need to know. And here's a whole lot more, but we're gonna go over here to the cash flow manager. I only have 2 things I'm gonna do for y'all today. Hang in there, and I hope you're learning. I hope this is good for you. And this session is being recorded. Okay, so my computer's slow, but as y'all can see, I've got a whole bunch of examples I got in here. So we're gonna start here at the cash flow manager, and I'm going to start a new, y'all, I got to tell y'all that when I went ahead and buckled down, this is a story I tell about me and my husband, okay? Because we were not on track together, okay? And for me, this is so serious, because finances is the #1 cause of divorce, okay? It's a real issue, I think, that should be discussed when you're single and you're thinking about marrying. When you have someone, see, justice is not given if you shack. As if you live with somebody, because you ain't obligated. You're not obligated to put your money together. It might be just something you do, dishing out money, trying to keep everybody happy in that situation. But it's the real deal, McCoy. When you sign that dotted line, everything becomes one. I know we have philosophies that you keep your money, I keep my money. I just don't believe if I'm one on everything else, that my money is 2. Now, I might need to structure it differently. If one mismanages, of course, I don't want an account with them if you're going to miss the money. But we actually need to be able to have a conversation about money without blowing up. Okay, so this is my real deal training here. And so we could not have a conversation about money. in a good way. It just wasn't productive. But myEcon helped us, okay? Because when I decided to use my tool for budgeting, I was able to print out everything, and the old man could see I wasn't doing nothing with the money that he wasn't approving of, and that we could both see that if we didn't get a grip over here or a grip over there, then we would continue to live from paycheck to paycheck. But get this, it was nobody's fault. We shared the accountability, we shared the responsibility. So budgeting is supernatural to me. Y'all can call it what you want, but budgeting is supernatural to me. I remember people saying that they hide money, they hide the stuff they buy, they do all that. Ain't no hiding here. Ain't no hiding here. You might sneak every now, but ain't no big hiding going on, because you need to know what's truly going on in your household together. So let's get started on this. I'm just titling this boot camp. You can title it whatever you want when you go here, but you got the business tab and you have home tab. So click home and then save. Now that we are in here, we want to go to the income section. Remember we talked about all of your financial documents? Well, right here, what's neat about our system is that you have leadway. If you don't know what you should put in, get this. We got it. We got it sitting right here as to what you should be putting into your budgeting system. All right. Then if that's not enough, you can come to custom types, okay, and create a new entry. All right. I don't know what I do. I think, okay, let's go with this. Although it's self-employment, but if you got 2 or 3 things going on, you can name them. I found it to be best to name for me, so I could see. I had a beauty shop, I got myEcon income, I got this kind of stuff going on. So I wanted to put everything in there. Now, when I go back to the tab, guess what's in there? Paparazzi. Okay, so I'm gonna have my income, get this, from my commissions. All right. I think somebody else, let's see, somebody else trying to get in. Oh, they're back in. Okay. So now you have a date selector. You can either click on this and choose your date, or you can actually type the date in. So if you don't get paid, if you get paid on the 1st, then this is going to be, you can just easily type over it. And then I got $1,000, and then who, that's going to be, I got it from myEcon. What commission check, okay, where direct deposit, okay. And if you want to really be specific, you can have 5 new associates, and you can also have dream team residual. See, because this will remind you to go ahead and keep the team working. And then if this is recurring, which hopefully it is, maybe some monthly recurring, you can go right over here. You can type in when it's going to occur again, or you can go to the date selector and get this and hit the save button. Now, voila, we start to build our spreadsheet. Now we want to go over here. I like to categorize mine. I like to categorize so you can see. We're going to go over here and we're going to enter some expenses. And you guys see your button here? See your printable view, your mileage, even in this, your profit and loss, even right here, and your receipt images. I love the update because the images used to be so small that it wasn't effective. You'd have to go take them out of the system. But now you can actually click on this and see the images. And for anything, audit or whatever you're trying to do, I think if you're budgeting, I would be taking a look at my interest on my credit cards, okay, and loans. So you'll be able to put in a receipt for that. But now we can go over here to enter new expense. Now we have, okay, we got all of our expenses here. Insurance, so we got life insurance. It's due on the 20th, okay? And that's gonna be, let's see, $50. And that's going to be fidelity, just using somebody. What life insurance, life policy, okay, where, online, just say they in Georgia. And then I'm gonna be detailed, I wanna say term life, okay? And I might wanna put a date in there and when my term is over. And guess what? This is a recurring situation, so this is monthly. And I wanna put the next date in here, 6/20/2020. Bam. Okay, where did I go? I wasn't supposed to go out of this. Okay, but get this. The good news is I can go back and I can look over here at viewing and editing, and I can see my recurring information and my entries. View and edit my expenses. Okay, did my expenses just get lost? Oh, I see what. See, this is another thing. You can change a date. I don't know how many days in May. I mean, yeah, we're in May. So I can change that date. Y'all mean to tell me I just lost my expense? Well, I'm gonna put it back in there again. Okay, so we're gonna do it again. We're gonna go to our, okay, oh, I missed one. Let's do this one. That's gonna remind y'all. Put that in your budget. Huh?
Never mind. I was thinking you did them in June, but that's your recurring date. Never mind.
Okay. So let's see who, that's myEcon, website, fee, where, online. Okay, because we want to make sure you guys are active. Okay, monthly, and what, that's 5/16. Now we're gonna do 6/16/2020 and save entry. Okay, now here we go. So now I want both of them, and now your budget starts. That's all I want you to see, is that your budget starts. And then you have over here where you can click the year-to-date profit and loss statement. I'm gonna click on that. And you have your profit and loss statement, closing return to cash flow manager. You have an annual report. I don't wanna create that, but you guys get the point out of the budgeting system. And if you work with it and just go look at the myEcon video, if this is not good enough, then June, there's a video in your back office. But to me, this was phenomenal. This was truly a phenomenal way of getting me started when it comes to actually taking care of my budgeting and taking care of my money. And that's why I hold it precious, because I know now. I'm just going to interject. When I did the budget, I also knew how much I could loan to somebody, or I could bless somebody. I was so excited to be able to see that I had this much money left over. And because I had that over, I got a phone call from a family member, and she said, can I get this much of such and so? And I said, well, I don't want to make her borrow, so I'll be able to, I can give you this. And she's like, well, I'll give it back on such and such. No, you can't, you're borrowing. I want to be a blessing. Do y'all see? It's so much behind this personally that I think is valuable. Okay. And then today we want to go to the next thing is financial goal setting. I'm getting ready. Do we have any questions from there? Any questions? Just tell me, do we have any questions? Yes, go right ahead, Renita.
Yes. So this, I know you're doing budgeting, but this is kind of just a cash flow manager question. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, what was I going to ask about the profit and loss statement? I forgot. Anyway, I think I'm okay. Oh, so this is just me being probably a millennial, being young-minded, being all kind of stuff. But you know, that profit and loss statement before, have you used it before with any of your clients or yourself to like submit to a bank? Like, does it suffice? And I'm just saying that, you know, like there are other programs like QuickBooks or something that's a little bit more fancy and a little bit more like detailed line item, like marketing for what, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to ask that first. That's question number one.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I use it for myself and I use it for my clients, because the thing about it is whatever is left out, I can put it in there. I can't adjust this system. And then some people are just complexed, okay? They don't feel like they've done anything unless they are complexed about it. And so in the financial world, people think that it's so out of touch that it has to be complex. It does not have to be complex. The bank, I went to the bank myself with my profit and loss statement out of here, okay? It was exactly, he said, "Ooh, I was glad to see this," because the rest of the things they didn't need to see. That was not what they were asking for. And so QuickBooks, and I've looked at these things right here, they give pie charts and all this kind of stuff, but they're not necessarily necessary for the level that we are on, if that makes sense. For the level that we on, there may not possibly be what you need. And so, yes, this is just a simple solution, and it has been sufficient for people who have actually wanted to put their, I did their taxes, they were self-employed, and they needed, although I can make them more complicated, but they needed something to purchase a car, and it was what they needed. They just needed to see their expenses and their income and
That's
see what was
perfect.
there.
And I appreciate you for sharing that, because that's a mindset thing. And I appreciate you for saying it the way you did about, people want stuff to be complex. Hi, my name is Renita. That's me. So I appreciate you for, for going ahead and helping me out on that. All right. The second question is with the cash flow manager update, so this is a statement first, but with the cash flow manager update, I was so happy to see that PDF download report. Mm-hmm. And so I'm saying that, and my question has to do with vacations and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So let's use the cash flow conference that was supposed to be coming up in Atlanta in June, right? Mm-hmm. So I was using a completely different app. It was only $9.99 a year in my Google store on my phone, and I loved it. And the reason I use it is because it helped me to compartmentalize my trips so that I can, if I needed to, spit out a PDF report now that I can now do in the cash flow manager. So I love that. So I just wanted you to speak to, how do you keep track of a vacation? Mm-hmm. And again, I'm using the word compartmentalizing because I love to compartmentalize. I want to be able to see what was my bottom line for this trip, and then too, knowing tax laws and knowing that I can either take the per diem rate or I can take the exact rate, like for a hotel or lodging, that kind of stuff. I'm saying a lot. I hope I'm not throwing anybody that's new or off, but I really want to ask you how you track your vacations and that kind of thing.
Okay. First of all, I want to back up to say the PDF, the summary was cool. It's cool, and I'm cool that it was on there like that. But I always PDF'd my spreadsheets and I didn't see much difference in that, because I could turn it, landscape it, put it in a PDF, and put my own title on top of it. It's still categorized, okay? So I was using it that way. The next thing is compartmentalizing vacation. I think you're referring to travel, if I'm not mistaken, travel that may be in your record keeping. Now I know in the home situation, vacation is a label that's on there, but when it comes to record keeping for travel, for business, your vacation is not a vacation, it's travel. Okay, so you have to make a distinction between your overnight and your in-town travel, which is in there. Okay, so let me back out of this then, and then I'll get an example, if y'all don't mind. Then this will help y'all understand what she's referring to, and this may help you as well. Okay, we're gonna pull this up, because travel, say for instance, travel meals, and when you travel overnight, you have meals that you can write off for that business trip, and you have mileage plus gas that you can write off. So you have to know where to put it in the cash flow manager so that you will be able to do that, okay? So I think I might have to start a new one, sorry. Let me go to a new one. Let me make a new one so I can get in. And I don't know which sample I should use. So I'm gonna go into a into a business sample, okay? And then I'm gonna save that file, and then I'll open expenses, and then I'm gonna look here at the drop down. Okay, is this what we talking about, y'all? Are we okay? Oh, I need to share. I haven't shared it. All right, share the screen where I'm sharing it. Okay, right there. Thank y'all. Okay, so I'm sorry, y'all missed that whole process. Okay, so here we go. We're in the business cash flow manager, and she asked about vacation. Vacation is no more vacation. It is traveling expenses for your job. For your business, okay? So here you're gonna go to travel, airfare, travel lodging, travel meals and entertainment. Then you have travel other, parking, public transportation, travel rental, and travel tips. Now this is where you're going to put your overnight expenses, okay? You're gonna put your overnight expenses here. I'm trying to see if somebody was, okay. Now, this other I don't like. So this is where I go in and make an adjustment because, let's see, let's go up here to, you can just go in and put in mileage, but I like to put me another expense type in here. And so what I did was I advised everyone to go and do travel, miles, okay. Then create another one, travel gas. Okay, and I think I misspelled something real quick. I sure did. I'm not gonna correct it because this is a sample. So we're gonna go in now. I think I'm answering you, Renita. We're gonna go in now and we're gonna have it identified as, oh, well, Miles was already on there. Well, I'm down to travel. I'm sorry. Travel gas, travel meals and entertainment, whatever else you needed in there that's going to take on a different percentage to write off, that's what I did to adjust it, okay? And went right on about my business. Transportation, gas, oil, all of this is when you're not overnight, okay? Any of this is fixed and you're not necessarily being overnight. Okay, gas and oil is not fixed, but if you were doing it down here, guess what? You put it there. Say, for instance, you were traveling and you are going to, and that's me knowing tax breaks, okay? So you would travel, we won't put travel and cleaning, because if you travel and you clean clothes, you clean your business suit or you clean or whatever, guess what? Then that's something that you can write off. So let's see, what else can we do when we travel that I may have missed? Okay, on traveling, supplies. You may purchase some supplies out on travel. Again, this stuff is gonna have a different percentage. So that's why I added a tab to it so that I could record it accordingly. And then it has its own category when I get ready to make the report. All right, does that make sense? Is that what you were asking, babe?
No, that's not what I was asking, but it is. No. This is perfect because I just learned. I'm over here taking notes. This is so. This was perfect. I think I'm just asking about your personal or household philosophy or business philosophy from a standpoint of. Again, I'm just telling how my brain works, and then I'm just brain dumping my brain so you can help me unlearn or relearn. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm a compartmentalizer when it comes to, again, like that June trip. If we were going to take that June trip, I want to be able, and again, kind of like you said with that PDF, you said you turn your Excel spreadsheet into a PDF. So I could set parameters on that trip and be like, okay, June, and I'm just choosing dates. Let's say it was June 12th through 14th. I could, of course, run my cash flow manager to do June 12th through 14 and just print that report that has my expenses in that particular, just for that those 3 days or so, and I could look at it like that. But I'm just saying I was happy for the PDF. So I just wonder if you needed to go look at an isolated trip to be like, okay, this is how much I spent, this is how much because of the tax law I saved. Do you even make a delineation like that? I just compartmentalize. That's all I'm asking. Yeah.
Okay, on what I saved by going on that trip versus what I know about tax percentages and per diems, as you were saying, that's what you were saying. So no, I don't, because I actually take a look at the tax records and make a difference there. At the end of the year, I know how much I saved overall. If I'm speaking to the right thing. And so I know in travel, I know the percentage, and I can take a look at the Schedule C, the bottom line of a finished tax record, and I can then take the difference or know the difference in my savings. And that's actually how I do it. I do not try to do it on a spreadsheet or on this system. Now, what happens is when you do have a QuickBooks and TaxBot and the others, they create wheels to actually show you savings and so forth. But I've just been working with what I have, and I know my tax records and what they look like. And so that's what I go by.
Okay. All right. And one more question.
Is that right, Renita? Did I do that right?
Quite possibly. And so I don't want to hold up the training because I know that my thinking can be again complex. And so sometimes, one-off conversations are better for that. So I'll yield to that particular part. But I do want you in what you did, because it was perfect. What you did in the cash flow manager was great training. And so I want you to say for me, because I think I just learned something. Explain to me why, from a tax perspective, we get to write off both mileage and gas, because I thought it would just be mileage.
Okay, if you take a look at the publication, basically I'm gonna say that's why, because they created the rule that you take standard deduction if it is a one-day trip. Okay, you got to take either the mileage or you take the gas. But when you go overnight, they just created the opportunity for us to write them both off, and it's in your publication that way. So now, what was behind their mindset on that, I really don't know. I'm just glad that I know.
Yeah,
I can do them both. Yeah.
Yeah, you just helped me big time. And you saying that about the distinction between one-day standard travel, one-day travel versus overnight travel. Like, I just realized that I've probably given up gas in the past, what I'm saying, just not knowing. And so that'll make me do my research. So thank you for that.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. Thank you for interjecting. That's what I like. If anybody else have a question? That's what we're here for today. And I hope you're enjoying the time. I got 30 minutes left with you guys. I hope y'all hang in there, because I prepared to do a great training for you. And it's what we need. Okay, I feel. And then you can go back and get the recording. Anybody else before I move on? Okay, so we're going to move on, and I'm going to go to this that sometimes some of ours may have forgotten. So I got to get to that slide right here. You guys let me know if you can see that slide, financial goal setting. Okay. Oh, I'm speeding up. It must have been my internet. Okay, so we want to go into financial goal setting. Just what is financial goal setting? Because I'm going to show you a document that we have in myEcon that gives us step 1, step 2, step 3. So because some people make this, I'm not picking on you, Renita, just only because you said it, but some people make it complex. That's why myEcon is so simple. And what we do that college children can go by it. elementary students can go by it. And so when we're talking about setting goals, this is also a part of your budget and where you want to go. So proper financial and retirement planning starts with goal setting. That's going to be short-term, intermediate, and long-term goals. Some key short-term goals including what? Setting a budget, starting an emergency fund. A medium-term goal is key to insurance, while long-term goals need to be focused on retirement. Okay, medium size, we're talking about key insurances, not the insurance per se, but the insurance that you will have in your finances. I think I choose a better word to saying medium-term goals are your stability, okay? It's your stability. So this is where I want to bring up our number 6 strategy in our plan for, or in our strategies for myEcon, and it is labeled investing, and it's document 807. Now, before we get to that question, I got to pull it up, guys. So I'm going to stop this one. And after I get through with this, it's simply questions and answers. So I won't go back to the slide. I'll be done with the slide. But now I'm going to go over here to myEcon, and I'm going to pull up. As soon as I get it up, I will share with you guys, because I downloaded the little stinky thingy here, and I've got to go find it. Okie dokie. There we go. I'm pulling it up now. Any questions, comments while we get to this document? I think I saw somebody in the chat, but I can't get to, where is it? I can't. I have to get off and join other meetings. Okay, good deal. Good deal. You get a chance to finish. Okay, and this won't take me long. All righty. Let's see where we got. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm not going to delve into this section by section to teach on it, but I wanted to review it because it is important that we understand it and we go this direction, okay? You have a plan of action already in place. Some of us need to go back to it to see if this is how we're moving forward, all right? This is our personal cash flow plan, all right? Our personal cash flow plan is a detailed plan that's gonna help us pull together our finances and move to a point of being successful. I said in the beginning that there are so many people who could have so many ideas, and I've run into them over the 100 years I've been a part of myEcon, and we're not arguing about which plan is the best plan, or you should use this or you should use that. You should understand that myEcon gives you an opportunity to think freely. That is the difference in people who actually are trained to think a thing. Let me tell you what I mean. Some of you have been trained that insurance is a wealth tool. If you evaluate insurance, you may think differently, and so in myEcon, what we do is we expose the information of everything, is not limiting you to anything, so you can make a choice, if that makes sense. You can make a choice if this will be a financial wealth tool for you, or if you're gonna take your money and make other avenues your wealth tool. Because quite frankly, when I understood insurance, I began to understand, like even my car insurance, out of all those years that I paid my car insurance, I'm losing because I'm paying $300-400 a month. And then as soon as I have a wreck, guess what? My insurance goes up, but that money don't cover me. It don't cover, we got what you call it, oh Lord, the 1,500 or whatever, all this kind of stuff. I still got to pay you $400 a month to give me $500 deductible in case I hit somebody and it cost me $20,000. I mean, it just don't make sense. And then we've got health insurance, you know, and then you've got life policies and cancer policies and all other kind of policies that we're paying for. If you never have cancer, you've paid, take a look at it. If you pay $20 a month for 5 years and you multiply that, you're like, where's my money? Okay, where's my money? I never have cancer, but that's money in my thinking. Once I began to educate myself, I could take that $20, either add it to eliminating my debt so I would have enough money to invest, or if I didn't have debt like that, I could go right ahead and take that $20 and turn it over at 19% rate of return, and there's my wealth. Otherwise, the insurance companies are like, for instance, not term, but whole life. If you didn't get it real early, in the end, you got so many limitations to your money, but they take that money and you have 4% interest and all this kind of stuff. When they're making 14, 16, 17, 8, they're reinvesting the money you're giving them. Same as the bank. When we get to the banks, we've got our money into savings account that don't even yield 1% on there. But we want to invest. We'd rather put all of it in a bank that has no investment, it's not growing. Okay, so the whole point is to give you something that you can gauge and operate where you're trying to go in a very simple manner. So step one, the whole point of income shifting strategy is to do this. Get you some business income, okay? Move from the linear, add some business income, okay? Minimize your taxes and adjust your W-4. Now, each one of those is actually going to help you create positive cash flow to where you can do what? I'm sorry, the fourth one is about minimizing your expenses. That's where the cash flow strategies come in at, so you can look at the money that you have outgoing. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, every one of those operating should actually create cash flow, a positive cash flow that you can actually now pour into a debt elimination plan. All right, that's step one. So you want to go back and you want to say, okay, am I generating business income? Because I may have a job. We're using a strategy, so I didn't change my career. But how about this 100% just hadn't been working for me? So if I can build $50 a month business income, I can actually, get this, I can actually take that and start saving money on the things that I owe, like saving interest, saving money. Because if you pay on your credit cards, if you pay on other certain loans on a weekly basis, and before the cycle date, you actually save money, when they come around, you lose the interest. Okay, so all of these steps are necessary to get to your financial goal. Step two, set up a beginner's emergency fund. I remember when the emergency fund was $1,000. However, your emergency is allocated on inflation every year. We need to build more for an emergency. Why? Because we're spending more for our consumer goods, anything else. So now we've set it for $3,000, which is going to go up. So while you can jump in there and feel good about yourself, you might want to get that $3,000. Guess what? Step one is going to help you build your emergency fund. So that's why I don't understand people who don't even want to try and introduce the concept to anyone else, because you're helping people and you're helping yourself at the same time reach your financial goals sooner. So you can't look at myEcon as some other little networking gig like selling coffee, a belt, earrings, or anything else, because this is about the total scope of your personal lifestyle. So to potentially get a higher rate of return on your emergency fund, you might want to do this. You might want to put your money in a money market account or a municipal bond fund instead of going to a regular account or a savings account. And you might want to move that money away from the bank that you are already at. That way you lose the temptation of taking the money out. Okay? Step 3, it tells you to stop there, okay? Because there's a method to the madness, because you need to be pouring into things instead of having all of this going out across the board. What happens is you lose your way and you don't get a chance to achieve or come to the end of a complete goal. Okay, so there's a method to this. Step 3, begin investing in a retirement. Once you've got your emergency fund, now you're ready to invest. Some of you, if you already got jobs and you have matching 401k plans, I most definitely recommend that for 3B, RA, Roth RA. This is not the training to go through each one of them, but this is what we're about to delve into so you can understand each one of these. And then if you can, put in the maximum amount on a monthly basis, but at least 5%. On my job, I could put up to 10%. So I advise this to young people when they start. And if you don't have a lot of debt, go ahead and max it out. Go ahead and put that 10% if that's, or I think somebody stopped at 7%. So whatever it is, that's money that's being matched. Step 4, take the rest of your available cash after living expenses and set up your myEcon elimination plan, debt elimination plan, which is the software is on there. You can't miss it when you go in the back office. Pay off all of your consumer debt. Leave the mortgage alone, okay? The reason we talk consumer debt is actually defined as a debt that has no appreciation. So that's like credit cards. That's like store cards. Anything that does not appreciate is a nuisance. It has no value. Okay, so you want to start because it has high interest on there. And after a while, it's absorbing all of your cash flow, because if you're paying minimum payments on your credit cards, right? Then you already know a card that should have been paid off in a year or 6 months is 5 years, 10 years, and therefore there's your wealth. Okay, so we stop. The house is considered, although it's not yours yet, until it is paid off, it's considered an asset. Okay, and you can actually begin, you can hold on and begin to eliminate that debt sooner if you take care of the other consumer debts. Step 5, if you are not maxing out your retirement investments, raise the payments. Step 6, take all of your available cash flow now and build that emergency fund 3 to 6 months. So if it takes you $2,000 a month to carry your expenses, then you got to say 2,000 times 6 is the amount of money I need in my savings account, my money market account. I even chose to put mine in an investment account so it would grow, okay? And so I'll get a chance to live off my dividends or live off that money for at least 6 months in case I get sick, I lose my job on some event that I had no control over. Okay, and then you want to get that under control very quickly. I told you about the gentleman who was dying from cancer. He did not have his debt under control. They had new cars. He was renting a house. He had all kind of credit cards. I really felt sorry for him. It was terrible. And his wife had no job. Step 7A, if you're renting, buy a home. I recommend for those children who are coming straight out of college, if we help college kids, my recommendation is that they buy a home ASAP. They don't come out with the mindset of renting, because buying a home is ownership, and you can turn that into an income producing asset. And then step 7B, take all of your cash flow and begin to pay off your mortgage, which you know that when we do the debt elimination, it's going to actually take you step by step, and you'll start pouring into it and making other choices with that sooner. But this at least give you some type of plan of action that you can work on. And then final step is, this is where you have your investment portfolio, your investment portfolio working for you. This is where you can truly make some boss moves. Even if you don't do soft investing, you can start hard investing with real estate, flipping homes, or become a rental property, buying businesses, because you do know that business is your greatest asset. We're going to talk about that in another training. And so this is where you want to go. Okay. So I am going to stop sharing. And listen, down here, let me say, we ain't even talked about life, health, disability, long-term insurance, and all of these kinds of things, because this is what we're going to talk about, because you need to get yourself in order with all of this. And only you know personally what you need. For instance, these things are adjusted according to age. So if you already don't have investments, you might need to get insurance to cover you in the event that something happens, or to leave an inheritance for your children. That's all up to you. Our job is to teach you, not to tell you what to do. Okay. So I'm gonna stop this share, and this is open for question and answers, and then we'll be done for the day. Do we have any comments, questions? Please give me a review. Let me know if this helped in any kind of way.
Okay, I have 2 more questions, Ms. Face. First and foremost, can you go, well, no, I think before we go back from the PCP, can you talk about, so in the beginning of this presentation, we talked about people who are budgeting and who may feel like they cannot even really budget because they don't even have the positive cash flow. Right. So in that same way, what about the self-employed person who's learning to become more enterprise, business owner, who feels like I can't even have a SEP, IRA. So like, what do you say using this personal cash flow plan for someone who wants to follow it? Like, should they be working on setting aside some money for a SEP IRA?
Okay, first of all, I want to deal with their mindset, like I had talked about before, is that if they feel like that, the first thing we have to do is change the feeling and interject some philosophies and some, what is that book? I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I know I can, that kind of thing. We have to first speak to your mindset that the possibilities are there, even if you don't have but say an income of $12,000 a year, $5,000. Can y'all, let me tell y'all, I have made it on $3,000 a year income when I was in college. myEcon was nothing for me to pick up because I already had some principles and some ways I was living that this was an addition to, or it kind of stabilized and put structure to how I felt about life and what I could do. I moved from $3,000 a year to, get this, $7,000 a year. Can I tell you, I had a baby. So then I took things, I had a budget on $3,000, $7,000, I had a budget. When I moved in my apartment, I never got rental assistance or food stamps was not my friend. At that point, they even made, I'm going somewhere with this, okay? I just have to talk about me and where I'm going to try to make it happen. So food stamps was not my friend. They made me do a whole bunch of paperwork to get a $5 book of stamps because they counted financial aid at that point. Now, I walked up to DHS and put that book on their desk and said, bye, Felicia. Me and my child will make it on $7,000. Now, the only reason I could do that, I had a job then. I had just started, came out of college, came back home, didn't want to come, well, this is not my home, but didn't want to come back to Monticello. And I got a job at the newspaper, which was discriminating that I didn't know. With my degree, I started working as assistant newspaper editor with a salary of $7,000. That was $4.25 an hour. Now, what I did when I got a budget then, I knew what I made, okay? And so I moved into an apartment making rent for $195 a month, and all my utilities were paid. So I'm gonna say that the first thing is that a person, to speak to that, a person has to really take an overview of their wants and their needs also. Because I wanted a lot of things. Well, I didn't want a whole lot, but I wanted some things, but I had need of some things. So I had to prioritize my wants and my needs. So I got in the apartment, Renita. And this is speaking to those people who say, I can't do it, because yes, you can. I got in my apartment and I decided, okay, I was gathering all along while I was in Little Rock working, because I opened, what do you call, TJ Maxx. Okay, when it first opened, I was desk manager. And so I would gather up kitchen aid, blankets, things of this nature I had, because I knew one day I was gonna move. I was debt free when I moved. So when I went in that apartment, you see, I'm still talking about managing our wants and needs, and we need to do that now. So I went in there, guys, and I didn't have anything but a bedroom suit that my mama had bought for me at 15 years old, and I gave that to my daughter. I had a small set of brown pots and pans, y'all might remember them, and I had a whole lot of kitchen stuff. So I lived on what I had, watching that little $7,000 as I was getting them little checks. And so I watched that. And then when I get to a point where I was saved, I went out, or I felt like I could handle it. I went out to a furniture store and I got me a bedroom suit. Now, I didn't have a living room suit. Okay. Didn't have a living room suit. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay. So I turned around, I got my bedroom suit, and the monthly payment was going to be that I could stand it without a mattress. So guess what I did? I got the bedroom suit and I had a frame, and I put some quilts in there that my grandmother had made for me for a mattress. Y'all see where I'm going? So I slept on the mattress, put my baby in the bed in a twin canopy bedroom suit, white, beautiful, purple and white. So then when I got through with that, I read up on somebody, and I ended up getting a mattress set for $5, both the top and the bottom. And the reason I got that, because it's a lady who was addicted to crack, who was selling stuff out of her house. And she was selling a brand new mattress and bed spring for $5. I got that. I lived on that for a while. I had accomplished something. I paid that debt off. It came my birthday. I said, okay, no, I forgot. I got a little glass dining room suit with that. Then it came to my birthday. I said, okay, now I can get me a living room suit. I went out and got me a living room suit from Haverty's with a $40 a month bill, complete with the tables and the lamp. And get this, I paid it off. When I got married, when I met Jerome and we got married, we moved in together, I had a house full of furniture debt free. Now, that's why I say the first thing we have to do is speak to the mindset, because those are the sacrifices that have to be made, even if you're self-employed and trying to build and go somewhere. Because I've done my LLC the same way. I have remained debt free in my business for almost 20 years because I refuse to get a loan. That's what Ivy taught us, is to actually live debt free. And so those are the principles. Work first with the principles. The next thing is, yes, implement step 1, step 2, especially step 1. If a self-employed person does not have a W-2, then they most definitely need to start building cash flow with a structure. So you don't have a W-2, you don't have the normal things going on, but you can start saving, or you can start budgeting, putting that money in an account. Like I said, don't leave that money at the house in a cash drawer, okay? Or in your beauty shop or your barber shop, or you might be fixing cars or doing plumbing. Set up a bank account and then start moving everything according to the PCP plan. It can be done. And then what happens when you get the first step first, the budgeting, and that, you should already, now get this, you should already have explored your IRA simple investments, because guess what? That's vision that should be written. That's a mission that you should keep before you, is to get to that point to where you can have it. So you won't know if you haven't done the homework. So make what I have. Hold on, I'm gonna show you something. Again, I do not want to complicate things. Making it happen, get this. Get a binder. I told y'all what you're doing, your credit repair. Get a binder. Put that in there. Put that objective on how. Now see, everything in those PCP plan, you have to break down personally how you're going to get there. If I'm going to build my business in myEcon and I want to build income, guess what? Although I read through that quickly, you got to break down how you going to even make $500 a month from myEcon. That's the stuff we've been trying to tell you. You, first of all, know the compensation plan. Secondly, get on Learn and Earn. Figure out how you are supposed to market, because marketing is not just about selling. So you have to get this training. If you're going to do the first part, which is business opportunity, and begin to raise business income, then you got to dedicate some time. See, that don't happen overnight. That happens with structure, with education, goals, leadership, and mentorship. Okay? And then you start developing one after the other. The easy part is the W-4, but this is a self-employed we're speaking to, so they don't have a W-4 form. But they do need to get things in place where they're paying Social Security. Because if they're living simply off of I recommend Social Security, they need to pay in their Social Security. And if they have anything greater going on, then it's a possibility they might even have to pay quarterly taxes. They just got to take a look at that situation. And it may not happen right then, but guess what? Write out the plan. Make the vision. Write it out, make the plan, and check it off as it happens. So I went all around Halifax and back to think I answered you.
Yes, I sent you a DM about it. My sister was there.
Huh? You sent me a DM?
Oh Lord, I ain't realized my stuff was unmuted. My bad. This is good. I was answering the phone. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's not to me. So did I get to the right point?
No, this is, I mean, you have blown my mind. Like this is why I gotta hang around you, because you just listen. You know, I get a lot of great fundamentals in the community I'm in, but you also just give, like, you a secret weapon out here. You a silver bullet, you know. So I just appreciate it. So with what you said, it is 100% on point, and it actually leads into my second thing. And I wanted you to go back to your slide on financial goal setting, because I wanted to write some things down.
Okay.
That, and then Joseph, before we get off of here, I'd love for you to just say again what those principles of management or functions of management are. And maybe you could say that while she's pulling up her.
Okay. And actually, I'll say them right now, but I think I'm going to do a little training on that myself, because sometimes we get so wrapped up. We look at myEcon or whatever it is we're trying to do, and we really don't take the time to sit down and see how this stuff works. Principles of management. If you don't major in business, you won't get that information. However, those things can apply to every aspect of life. So I'll just give them to you real quick. Those 4 functions of management are planning, organizing, influencing, and controlling. And just, of course, we know what the plan is. Ms. Pace just alluded to it. If you're going to make $500 in myEcon, you need a plan for getting there. But once you do it, you've got to organize your activities on what you're going to do to execute that plan. Now, after you organize, part of that is going to be influencing not only yourself, but your team members. You got to influence people to be able to go out and help you get to the $500. And then the final thing is controlling. We all need to have some control mechanisms in place to evaluate where we are as it relates to achieving our goals. So a lot of times we don't have any checkpoints to say, you know what, I'm trying to get $500. I want to be at 250 in 15 days. But a lot of times we don't even check. And if we're not at the 250, then we should be able to go back and look at our plan and see, have we influenced enough people? Do we have the activities organized right? Or is the plan itself even set up right? So I'm going to craft a training like that. Miss Pace, you've inspired me to actually do a training on that.
Yes.
And so hopefully we'll be able to do one of those within the next week.
Please do. Please do. All right. Okay. So Renita, I have the financial goal setting. Is that what you were looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, and so I just took a screenshot. I'll just do it like that. But I mean, this goes right into what you were just saying, and I just appreciate the fact that you are you're thorough, like seriously about having a written plan. Like I think it's a lot of people out here talking the game on that, but not as many people literally who got binders. And so you even saying that about vision for the simple IRA and that kind of stuff, it's phenomenal. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I kind of get on people's nerves because they don't want to do it. I know, and I seem to be complicated myself.
No, but when you think about it, the basics, it's just like math. If you don't learn the basics of math, you won't be able to do any algebra. You won't be able to do any geometry. I mean, you won't be able to do anything because at the end of the day, it boils down to adding, multiplying, subtracting, and dividing. So I appreciate you always bringing us back to the basics. And that's the thing. You got to have the foundation. So like Renita said, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, we thank you guys for joining. Like you said, I do want to say this in closing. If you do, you got something? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
Okay, it's Nathan. I just wanted you to, first of all, this is a wonderful training. I really appreciate it. I wanted you, as a person in the health insurance Medicare market, go back over, because I see in your slide that you do mention the insurances, and I know you had mentioned the cancer policies and things that you wouldn't want to have, but is that at a certain point, or because just coming from my standpoint and seeing situations where specific illnesses devastate a person's, like they may reach all of these goals and be working on these goals, and then a specific diagnosis kind of wipes them out.
Right. I see what you're saying. And that's why I said it's a personal review. Okay. Because of course, if you have a lot of cancer in your family, you might want to consider a cancer policy. But at the same time, you also want to look at your stop losses on your regular health insurance, because you're going to go back and look at your health insurance and see what does it cover. Like when I was at my job, my insurance was very good and it covered cancer. It covered my husband. He had cancer. And so it covered him. But as things change throughout life, like you're supposed to be doing these things with that in mind. Not that you're going to live a gleeful, on the water lifestyle, but that these things may come. And if you needed to pay the insurance bills, I mean, the doctor bills, or you had a gap somewhere, you had these things in place. That's not discounting getting them and the value of them, but it is not putting people in a box where they can't make a choice. That's what I was speaking to, is that when you understand all of these and what are the possibilities, then you as an individual get the chance to make that choice instead of somebody making that choice for you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's simply the statement. And that's why we're going to let you guys who are in the business be able, that's what I'm looking for from the team, is that you teach the stuff you know, and allow people to make a choice. Okay. But when we get in some settings, and I've witnessed this in myEcon, when we've gotten in some settings due to whoever profession it is, when they got to teaching, they talk to their profession and they talk to their commission. That I don't like, because that's not what
I understand.
You know what I'm talking. So that's not what we're bound to when we talk. And you know that there are people who think that they are financial gurus simply because they have a license in this business, but that does not make them a financial guru. So that's all I'm talking to, is giving freedom of mind and freedom of choice.
Yeah, at some point I would like to understand exactly where you're coming from. Insurances now are different. Well, at least like Medicare, and I just know a lot of people are under the impression that their insurance plans cover things that they don't. And then they find out once they get the diagnosis. What I would do, definitely suggest though, like, and I have cancer in my family. I have it's in my family. And but to get one that, like, I consider my cancer policies, they're not earning interest, but I pay the extra so that you get a return of premium. So if you're not diagnosed, if you don't use it, you actually get those back around retirement time.
And see, that's stuff that needs to be known.
Way.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this, Nathan. Also, your condition is different from others. You make good money. See, people who are strained have to find ways to minimize their expenses because they can be insurance poor. So if that can be an expense that they can't even buy groceries, and you looking to die soon, I mean, you're going to die from starvation sooner you will cancer. I'm just saying. And that ain't the only policy. I'm making a joke out of it, making it light. But you see what I'm saying? And that's why we need, that's why your profession is needed. So Joseph, you come on, you do the training. Nathan, you need to practice Zoom so you can go in our
I really do.
You sure do. So
Renita has some great stuff, some content, some training that she does. Renita needs to come on in. She needs to come on in and do some training because
what?
Again,
guess
we
what?
have it.
Renita is our guest for this. Is not our monthly training. Our third Saturday monthly training. Guess who's the guest? Renita.
All right.
Well, I thoroughly look forward to that. I've enjoyed
Renita. I'm looking forward to it. Miss Pace, if I could say one thing as it relates to the insurance, we've had the discussion before. That's why these financial principles are so important, because the older you get, we know what happens. Your health insurance, the cost of taking care of you health-wise increases. So insurance has a purpose at a certain point in time. If you're doing right by your money, eventually, once you get older, you should have enough cash flow or whatever to actually cover the cost of anything that you need to do. So insurance has a purpose, but like you said, a lot of times people are scared into purchasing policies that they don't. But if you want people to have insurance, you got to show them how to get the cash flow to be able to pay for it, so they won't be in a bad spot.
Hey,
absolutely correct. I agree 100%.
Well, get your material together, because we're moving this train forward. It's time. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining today's training. I hope that you go to our group me and go to our page on Facebook, share some nuggets, let everybody know who did not get a chance to join today that this was an awesome training, and it has been recorded, and I will upload it to my YouTube channel and post it on both levels of communication that we have. So you guys have a blessed rest of the Saturday. I got school now. Bye.